It is widely understood in modern teaching that every student is unique and has a different set of strengths and weaknesses. A one-size-fits-all assessment for any given learning objective may not be the best way to determine a student's intelligence. But what is intelligence? According to Hoy and Hoy, the general theme of intelligence involves the capacity to learn, the total knowledge a person has acquired, and the ability to adapt successfully to new situations and to the environment in general. Howard Gardner developed the theory of multiple intelligences, where there are 8 main separate categories: linguistics, musical, spatial, logical mathematical, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalists. Multiple intelligences has helped teachers differentiate tasks and lessons to reach more students, focus on learning objectives, lesson design for every student, and truly personalize learning. However, even Gardner admits that the theory of multiple intelligence has been misused as well. Some have been trying to incorporate all intelligences in all concepts, and many do not understand how to appropriately use the intelligences in learning in lesson design. In addition, there hasn't been strong research evidence that supports using multiple intelligences actually enhances learning. So why do educators still use the theory of multiple intelligences to design their lessons? Should we focus more on other theories such as the triarchy theory of successful intelligence that focuses on developing skills needed for success in life?
The topic of standardized testing is one that brings about many heated discussions in the education community, so it's no surprise that when the conversation turns to IQ tests, there's no shortage of opinions and controversy. As educators, we continue to grapple with the relevancy of IQ scores and the role they play in our schools. How important are they to the teaching and learning we do every day? Are IQ tests an accurate tool to measure intelligence? Will knowing a child's IQ score change the way teachers plan and personalize their lessons? Formal intelligence testing dates back to the early 1900s when Alfred Binet used a standardized test to identify learning disabilities in Parisian children. Since then, IQ tests as we know them became a favorite among psychologists, and today there's no shortage of online tests where people can now self-administer in the comfort of their own home. However, for every article that stands behind the relevancy of IQ tests, there are easily double or triple the articles that have legitimate questions about their accuracy. Howard Gardner claims that humans actually have more than one intelligence quotient. Therefore, if this were true, an IQ test would fail to assess the whole person. It's also no secret that IQ tests fail to address the cultural diversity of its participants. American-born, English-speaking, Caucasian participants have traditionally scored better on IQ tests than others. Other criticisms claim that IQ tests minimize the importance of creativity, they are unfair to disadvantaged individuals, and that practical intelligence, character, virtue, and morality are worthy of assessment. The Flynn effect describes the phenomenon that IQ test scores increase by an average of 18 points in each generation. Reasons for this are unknown, but theories suggest a multitude of causes, from better nutrition and test preparation to increased parent literacy and better schooling as a whole. What does that tell us about these tests, or our intelligence over time? Are we truly getting smarter, or is our view of intelligence changing? Intelligence researchers have been working hard to address concerns around the validity of IQ tests. They've done so through regular updates to the WISC and Stanford Binet Intelligence Scale to better reflect the diversity of its test takers. They developed more sophisticated ways of creating and assessing these tests, and they've produced new theories to broaden the concept of intelligence. Despite the progress being made in intelligence testing, the big question that remains is, should we even be using intelligence tests?
What is best for kids is a question that guides the decision-making process of educators, principals, and teachers alike. In the quest to prepare students for both today and tomorrow, this question more specifically becomes what is best for this child in this subject at this point in time. This is no easy task when a principal must consider the needs of an entire school population or a teacher the entire classroom. One approach to dealing with the diverse academic levels in schools is the idea of tracking or grouping by ability level. Ability grouping refers to grouping students of the same ability or according to their demonstrated performance or readiness levels. Ability grouping can take a number of forms, including flexible groupings, within class groupings, between class grouping, and cross-grade groupings. In flexible groupings, students are grouped and regrouped based on their learning needs. Assessment is continuous so that students are always working within their zone of proximal development. Arrangements may include small groups, partners, individuals, and even the whole class. Flexible grouping approaches include high-level instruction and high expectations for all students regardless of their group placement. Between class ability grouping or tracking is a more common practice in secondary schools. This is typically displayed as high, middle, and low ability classes in particular subjects. Recently, there has been a call for detracking, or teaching all students in mixed ability groups and then providing extra help for those who struggle and enrichment for those who learn quickly. such as gifted students. Truly gifted children are not the students who simply learn quickly with little effort. The work of gifted students is original, extremely advanced for their age, and potentially of lasting importance. Identifying a gifted child is not always easy. The best single predictor of academic giftedness is still the individual IQ test, but these tests are costly and time-consuming, and as was previously stated, are far from perfect. With no consensus on what makes a person gifted, how gifted children are identified widely varies. While there are arguments for and against the practice of tracking students, students considered gifted are one group that stand to be highly impacted by detracking. This leaves us with a question. Is ability grouping a practice that truly considers what is best for students, and should it continue to be used in schools and classrooms?
The school environment is constantly changing, and with the rates of ADHD and autism spectrum disorder on the rise, and learning disabilities being diagnosed but not defined, it is changing in more challenging ways than ever before. This presents a level of diversity within the classroom that many educators feel they are unequipped to deal with in effective ways. ADHD, learning disabilities, and autism spectrum disorders are all becoming the norm within inclusive classrooms. How can teachers support and model appropriate and effective strategies to support students in ever-changing diverse classrooms? It seems so simple to say, but Hoy and Hoy would argue that good teaching is what these diverse students need. By focusing on what is best for the student, engaging them in activities, making instructions shorter and more concise, creating a positive connection between school and home, allowing for more practice time, creating a safe space for all students, and focusing on the positive for each student, educators will be supporting their diverse classrooms in more positive ways. As an instructional leader, modeling these behaviors is important. This may look like creating professional development directed at creating solid foundational teaching strategies, or modeling staff meetings around the concept of engagement and creating a safe space for all staff members to share without feeling judged. The basic skills that students with learning challenges require to be successful are also the skills that all students benefit from. Learning how to learn is not just for students with learning disabilities, but for all students. Creating engaging assignments is not just important for ADHD learning, but for all learning. A focus on social relationship building is not just important for the autism spectrum disorder students, but for all students. And these are not just important for students, but for staff as well. Inclusive classrooms are also seen as the best place for students with learning challenges. They're able to be with peers for the majority of the day and are part of the class, creating a sense of belonging. These students also take a large portion of the teacher's attention and focus, planning and prep time, and personalized instruction time, as educational assistants are not assigned to every child that may benefit from them. Many teachers now ask, is an inclusive classroom what is best for all students? Are other students in the class missing out due to the diversity of learning needs within the classroom? Are good teaching practices enough to support this diverse group of students?